Right, so we're going to try something a bit different, right? I'm going to read to you the law, and then we'll talk about the implications. But before that, pay to win? Maybe? No. In all honesty, it is pretty interesting though. So we've got the promo Evo armor, which I didn't notice before, right? So the base arms, base chest, base whatever, and they all have obviously one defense and blade break, and then the actual token ones that come in the sets have nothing going for them. So I'm curious if there will be some alternatives to the base gear, right? So for instance, they have blade break, we might see some other effects, you know, maybe some with temper or some other ability, maybe some arcane variants maybe, right, to give some better use for these basic equipment that, again, you have to have on board while you search your deck for the upgrades and then actually play the upgrades to get your Evo gear going. But anyway, we are going to read through Metrix, right? In its entirety, every sentence I'm going to read to you. If that's something you're interested in, stick around. Otherwise, see ya. And then we'll go through some of the implications or what we can sort of decipher from the lore about what might actually come out in Bright Lights. Now, this is something that I want to do for all sets going forward. I want to keep up to date with the lore, right? I tried to do it, as I said, with Dust Till Dawn. I'm also kind of stalling because, right, it's always nervous public speaking. Well, I'm also reading than public speaking because, hey, I'm doing YouTube. But I will try to put my best voice on and read it nicely to some extent. A vibrant and bustling city, Metrix is the largest hub of commerce on the continent, a shining beacon of industrial innovation, the city of tomorrow. It boasts massive marketplaces, tall alabaster towers, and copper buildings adorned with cogs and shining glass. Metrix is a fresh start for all those seeking a brighter future. Its residents come from all over Wraith to settle within the sprawling city, chasing after progress and the future of technology. Scientists, researchers, innovators, inventors. You can expect a mess up or two. All make their homes here, contributing to the ever-developing city and its constant evolution. Home to massive corporations and small-time merchants, Metrix is an ever-changing metropolis, calling to all those who seek their fortune and the promise of a better tomorrow. Right, we'll try something a little bit different, and you guys can tell me what you like best. Thanks to the success of the continued patronage of Metrix's largest corporations. Sorry, I don't know why. I always go into trying to add in accents. Try it again. I'm just trying to do, deep baritone. Thanks to the success and continued patronage of Metrix's largest corporations, the scientists and technological communities of Metrix have flourished, creating a city rich with innovation. Mechanologists study augmentational robotics, alchemists study the effects of minerals, plants and poisons, while inventors at the forefront of commercial innovation. Biomancers, I really hate how this is structured. This is not structured like lore, this is just info dump, right? Biomancers who work to push the limits of humanity, researchers studying the natural world, all these and more call Metrix their home. I don't know, is my normal voice fine? I mean, we can do some, goofy voices if you want. I can't really do the nerdy. We're gonna do biomancy, the study and manipulation of the physical form, typically concerning humans, but can also include other living creatures. Maybe? A little bit? No? I'm just having fun with it, right? Alchemy, the study and manipulation of chemicals, and botanical components, creating potions, poisons, elixirs, and concoctions. Almost ran out of breath there. What about mechanology? Mechanology. No, let's back to deep. I mean, I can go even deeper. Mechanology. The study, creation, and manipulation of technology, focusing on designing, building machines, structures, and other items. With the nice drawn out syllables? Yeah? No? Let's try to crack on. I mean, this one's nice and short, right? So, Wow, it's not as short as what I was thinking. Where were we? Technological advancements. The Steam technology available. Okay, that's sorry. I just gotta stop. Right, they're still using Steam. We've seen the artwork. We've seen plasma rifles, but they're still using Steam. Right, I know there's the whole steampunk interpretation, but can we at least make it like fancy Steam? Right, not just Steam. I don't know. Just it seems a bit weird that their main energy source is still Steam. Is constantly evolving, helping its citizens with everyday tasks while also providing enjoyment and entertainment. Steam? What? I mean, does it power their TVs? I can see that. Is there TVs? Anyway, never mind, it tells me. From mechanical sweepers to copper wings to rocket skates, the imagination and innovation of Steam tech devices never ceases to amaze. I mean, why did we give up on Steam? Because there was more efficient use, right? Normal electrical generator was a bit better than Steam. Sorry. Read along. Focus. Mining. There are 3 large mining pits through the city. Throughout the city? Through the city? Through the city. This is, yeah, sorry. You're just gonna have to live with me. This is me. This is what I do, right? I can't focus for the life of me. Through the city of Metrix, surrounded by sprawls of buildings. A black hole in the gleaming copper landscape. These pits extend deep into the earth, allowing the miners of Metrix access to the metals and minerals found deep below. Traveling down to the active mining pits at the center of Metrix via the Giga Drill elevator. See? That doesn't sound like it runs on Steam. Come on, a Giga Drill? They spend long hours drilling through layers of bedrock in search of valuable resources to convert into steam. Thanks to the hard work of Metrix inventors. I don't know why I keep reading that just as innovators. Scientists and a number of devices now exist to help improve the safety of miners, such as respirators, steam clamps, and dampometers, plus the old-fashioned canary bird. Is there a canary bird? Is there birds? I know there's birds because we've seen them in a lot of the ninja artwork, so I'm sure there's something akin to canary birds, right? Tenatan. Tenatan ore. I like that word. Tenatan. Tenatan ore, an extremely rare metal ore that can only be found within the mines of Metrix. Lightweight and silver in color, it is one of the only known natural materials that can deflect. Oh, see? There you go. There's definitely going to be some arcane shenanigans on some of the Evo base armor. There has to be, right? Again, I think it works having multiple sets of them. You know, one with blade break, one with temper, one with either variations of the arcane mechanic, spell void, or arcane barrier, you pick. Since the discovery of its aether-resistant properties, scientists have been quick. This is not the same voice, is it? Have been quick to begin studying the extent of its abilities, incorporating it in everything from clothing to building materials. There you go. Okay, has to be some, right? Has to be some. Sorry, I know we're meant to keep the read into it till after. If there's a proper lore one, we'll take it seriously. A sprawling metropolis. The city of Metrix was built in layers, beginning with the areas now known as Old Metrix, like Ironforge and the Sprawl. As the city has expanded and advanced, it has built upwards, constructing ever higher districts that tower over the Sprawl far below. Pit fights, come on, give us some pit fights. Currently, the highest section of the city is the Expanse, its tall building leaving some sectors of the West Rise in permanent shade. And then we have all the different main buildings, which is cool. East Rise. In a bustling city filled with people, the East Rise is a welcome breath of fresh air. Only a few residential areas can be found within the East Rise, as the majority of the sector is devoted to parks and entertainment complexes. West Rise, known for its suburban neighborhoods and corporate offices. Sorry, that was more my not trying to stutter or, read badly. Because again, R's, P's, F's, H's, a lot of sounds, to be honest, that string together. If I say it in my normal speaking voice, does not come out good. The West Rise is populated by middle-class families and emerging scientists alike. High above the turmoil and chaos of the lower levels, it is popular choice for the established laboratories and research centers, with most of Metrix's companies choosing to station their research and development teams in the district. The Expanse. The Expanse is the richest and highest level of Metrix. All of the greatest minds have earned their rights to live here, like Strangelove. Though their many accomplishments and contributions to the city, all of the great laboratories. I'm pretty sure we say laboratories, but I'm saying laboratories for you guys. And institutions of education are located here. And no matter the hour, the residents of the Expanse can be found within, pursuing their next great discovery. Greatest minds have earned. They're all just hard workers. So they're the rich, but not generally the rich. Do you get what I mean? Right. Rich in labor. Coppertown, located in the south of Metrix. Coppertown is home to the working class citizens, from laborers to factory workers, foremen to couriers, nestled in between. I don't know why that word spaced on me. The city's massive strip mines. Coppertown boasts a large population of miners, and the standard of living is far better there than anywhere else on the... And the standard of living is far better there than anywhere else on the first level. Coppertown boasts the largest populations of miners, but the best living conditions. It sounds like a pretty good city to be a laborer in, right? Low Lake, Coppertown's entertainment district. The southern portion of Coppertown is infamous for its brothels, casinos, and seedy taverns. Low Lake's namesake, a small lake in the center of the district, has become rank and foul with runoff chemicals, leaving the majority of Low Lake's workers ill from the toxic fumes. The sprawl. Now, this is what I'm interested in, because again, fight pits would be cool to have right underneath the city. The largest and lowest level of Metrix. The buildings of the sprawl stand on solid ground, overshadowed by the cities above. The sprawl's population is predominantly immigrants and paupers, those who struggle to find work and make ends meet. The sprawl is ignored by the rest of Metrix, and as a result has developed a culture and identity unique to the district. Right, so there's still room, again, for stuff outside of mechanologists to really be featured. Again, we're seeing, a lot of the other community elements, and you could have, brutes akin to laborers or something like that, or guardians, just not being guardians by namesake, but having, the abilities. Okay, landmarks, and then a bed tomorrow, and then foundry. Cool. Midtown Markets, a place where anything and everything can be found for the right price. Nestled in the remains of a worn-out strip mine in the center of the city, the Midtown Markets are notorious, not only for its wares, but the amount of crime that takes place in the area. The Iron Assembly has stationed a permanent brigade of officers in the area, in an attempt to control the market's more nefarious locals. Many of the merchants remain at odds with the brigade, arguing that their presence deters the presence of some of their more wealthy clientele. Zinnia Park, one of the stranger attractions in Metrix. The mechanical creatures of Zinnia Park are rumored to have been made by a rich scientist with an unusual hobby. According to the urban legend, she died unexpectedly after purchasing a plot of land, too many P's, leaving behind instructions for assistants to set up what is now known as Zinnia Park. Nobody knows who runs or maintains the park, as the Iron Assembly denies having anything to do with the park's continued to existence. Now, very, very little to actually draw to, but what pops in my mind straight away is Australia Zoo and Steve Irwin, right? His unfortunate and untimely demise, right, which was very unexpected. He also spent a large portion of his life buying up plots of land to turn into conservative plots, zoos. So, being New Zealand, being James White, maybe, right? Maybe something akin. The Needle, the headquarters of Techlo Industries, Nicklo Industries, right? I'm going to change it, right? Techlo is Nicklo, and Techlo is Strangelove. I like Strangelove. It has a good ring to it. The Needle is a marvel of engineering, an incredibly tall ivory tower that stretches high above the city of Metrix. Let me guess, it's made of alabaster, right? Yes, because it was obviously said at the start. The construction process behind building the needle remains a closely guarded secret. Well, you just stack a brick, stack a brick, stack a brick, right? Because it's an ivory tower. It's not... Well, I mean, it's a marvel of engineering. I guess it depends what it looks like. Giga Drill Elevator. Hovering over Pit 3, the largest active mining pit in Metrix. The Giga Drill Elevator transforms helium into plasma and then plasma into steam, which then falls down. Sorry, I'm not going to stop with that again, because we're talking about, highly developed and then just efficient steam use, maybe. The ball of plasma detonates when it reaches the bottom, destroying the thick bedrock beneath, making the pit deeper. Elevators run along the side of the structure, extending down into Pit 3, allowing the miners and workers access to different mining levels. Terracetta? Terracotta. Path Academy. Named for one of the... okay, so it is named, because I was trying to connect the dots. Read before you try to make any assumptions. Named for one of the founders of Metrix, the Academy provides education to anyone who can afford its steep tuition. Sounds like Melbourne Uni. Anyone who graduates from the Academy is almost guaranteed to get success within their field and a future within the scientific community of Metrix. Right? If you don't know, Melbourne Uni is pretty much like the hotspot for international students in Australia, with very steep entry requirements and pricing. Metrix is always growing and changing, and through hundreds of years of innovation and evolution, there has been corporations and agencies that have contributed to the city that Metrix has become today. The Iron Assembly helps to keep order, while corporations such as Cogworks and Niclo fund research and produce exciting new STEAM technology for the people of Metrix. Then we have all the big conglomerates, right, including the actual conglomerate. So, the Iron Assembly. The Iron Assembly is a council formed from RPRS, even worse. I can see it in my head, I just can't say it. Representatives. Formed from representatives of all the highest echelons of society. I can say, how stupid is that? I can say echelons, but I struggle with that word. Governing the city of Metrix, Teklo, Cogworks, and other corporations as represented. I missed a full stop, that's why. Teklo, Cogworks, and other corporations are represented as are larger groups such as scientists, academic institutions, and mining corporations. The Iron Assembly ensures that the city remains both functional and profitable, enforcing law with a iron fist. Interesting. Very, very, diverse standard of living is what we're determining. Okay, Niclo Industries, a newer addition to the steam tech industry. Niclo Industries has been praised for their innovative approach to their products. Their research and development team is always experimenting with new and exciting materials, producing a revolving selection of innovative devices in sleek designs. Mendacity, a corporation that maintains control of the media. That one's a bit on the nose, right? Funding almost every radio station and the newspaper in the city. The rare outlier who refuses to fall under their control faces dire consequences, usually disappearing under mysterious circumstances. What episode of The Simpsons is that? Right, let me know. The Foundry, an independent radio station, one of the few in Metrix that remains free of Mendacity's control, Mr. Burns' control. Run by a single operator known only as Gambit. Fun fact. Love Gambit, right? Hoping he's in Deadpool, from what we've seen. It's broadcasts. And in Wolverine, right? The horrible Wolverine. It's pretty good, right? Its broadcasts include music, gossip from around the city, comments on locals, and improvised speeches. So it's not as radical as they sort of making it sound out. It just refuses to operate with mendacity. Curious to see where they go. All right, implications. Although we sort of, talked about a lot of them. So again, the big one, right? The arcane, deflect arcane. I do think that's an easy way for them to get the equipment out. Yeah, was it listed? I can't remember if it's listed. I don't want to close this because we're going through it. So we'll go back to articles and I will look at bright lights and we will scroll down and we will see the item breakdown. And there is no equipment. But I would assume that there is going to be. Right, so we have the tokens, easy access, and then I would assume, again, multiple sets of common versions, or even rare versions, maybe, with different abilities. Otherwise, it'd be kind of weird, right? Having these have, again, armor, have defense, and blade break, versus the normal stock standard having nothing. They break when you use them, but still, having the ability is pretty decent. So I would expect more sets of them in the actual set, and that way they have, again, those different variations, especially as the 10/10 all has that arcane protection. So, the themes, right? Obviously, we're focusing more on the actual companies with, Strangelove being an actual character that we're being delivered, and the whole advert being, part of his company, Niccolo Industries, right? So, I think this is setting up the background, but we're not actually going to touch a lot of these places. I would assume, maybe in a second look, we go onto the underbelly side of the city, but for now we stick with the scientific and the academic sort of portions, right? So it'd be interesting to see this. Definitely having the two different industries. So Cogworks, renewable, stable, and readily available. So they just provide the Steam source, or do they actually manufacture? Steadfast Steam Deck devices that every citizen can rely upon. Yeah, okay, so these are sleek and these are like the more expensive. So I could almost see like the Evo Steel stuff coming from, I was about to say Techlo, you're not going to get it. Niccolo Industries, right? And then some of this other stuff coming from the Cogworks conglomerate instead. Again, with the actual trailer that we saw, we'll just go through it. We had, the different armor models. So we had, what I assume is Dash in a sleeker version. And then we had this really clunky version. Is this the... It looks like the guy from Overload, doesn't it? But yeah, so I would assume that, again, we have some contrasting groups, if you will. And, the big expectation is that we see Data Doll, probably an adult version, Dash, Strangelove, and then maybe a fourth mechanologist just to deal with drafting. They could easily stick the professor's variant in there, maybe, or then a see, can't do it. And then someone from the Cogworks conglomerate. 6 would be, what we'd want to see, because that's essentially the standard they set up with Outsiders, and that worked pretty well, being a more uniform set. Again, not as specific as Bright Lights, but still. And then the radio stuff, again, I think this is just background. We might see the character. I think, again, we focus on the tech stuff, and then we go into the underbelly and the mining side. So I do think there's not too much for us to pull apart here. Mainly just the companies, right? Anyway, yeah, I think that's good enough. Looking forward to the more lore side. Again, personally not huge on the set, but I'm definitely just interested in the expansion of the world. Again, the lore is great. Definitely think they have way more avenues to explore in terms of it, rather than just articles, right? Producing books or something like that would be fantastic. I'm sure a lot of us would enjoy reading it. Oh, there you go. We'd see the path in the artwork. There you go. That's something we didn't check out. Anything else? No, just mechanical animals. And then we have the main artwork. Ooh. Yeah, actually, here's a good one. The two different workshops. Is this the workshop? Yeah. But anyway, that's most likely the version of Dash we get. Kind of seems like different sort of technology. Does seem like the Terminator tank is more his thing, right? Yeah, it's the exact same thing. never mind. Terminator Tank can't be from the Cogworks, but I do still expect to see some sort of contrast there between the groups, right? Some reason for conflict, right? Because that's the whole real thing, is every set has some level of conflict, minus obviously Everfest, or even Tails. Tails was more competitive spirit, wasn't it? So I haven't looked into that lore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Look forward to it, and yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you liked my reading. So yeah.